everyone, welcome back to the Traveling Knitter. This is the March podcast, and unfortunately it is not as exciting as I had thought March would be. So first off, I'll address the hair. It is purple. I don't know if you can really tell on camera, but it is like a brownish purple. Now, it was blonde, so this stuff is a lot lighter, but eventually it'll all be dark like here. This is what it is now. And what else? So there's going to be some life update stuff at the end. I've kind of removed life updates from my podcast, but this is going to just affect some of the scheduling. So yes. Let's just jump into it. So you may be wondering, if you watched my last podcast stuff, you basically were like, this is going to be done. This is going to be done. Yeah. So soccer started, which you would think means I could knit more. But I didn't. I also was reading, even though I didn't read as much as I would like. Video games. Video games are the problem. I had bought Pokemon for my birthday, which was in February, and I really started playing it in March, and then I just decided I wanted to play through Fable, the original, which came out, oh my gosh, like in the early 2000s. Is that when it came out? Came out for the original Xbox. Gosh, basically a long time ago. I was middle school, I think, when it came out, and I didn't beat it. I got through because I borrowed it from my my boyfriend at the time and was playing through, but his version something was wrong with his version. So either way, I didn't finish it, and I just was really craving a fantasy video game, and so I've been really enjoying kind of flip-flopping between the two. But what that means to you is not as much knitting. So let's just jump into it. I'm gonna show you basically projects you've never seen before. So we'll start with the finished object, and that is the Oshanty socks. And I actually have 3. So if you want to see me knit this, I do have an entire dedicated video for it. It's called Focus Project Om Shanty. And the inspiration of that is Audrey of Yarn Flakes podcast. She will sometimes do Project Focus videos, and so I really like that concept. You kind of get to spend more time with the knitted item, and there is just more vlog style. So this is the first one that I made, and if I hold it up against the others, you'll see there are some differences. So one, you're like, wow, look how much longer this guy is. I knit the smallest size, which I've been really starting to do as I wear my socks. I realize my feet, they are on the smaller size, and my calves, I just need to, not cast off tight. So I don't need to make a bigger size because my socks slide around on my feet constantly. So I was like, I'll knit the smallest size. Well, the smallest size is teensy weensy, and it really doesn't stretch a lot. So I bumped it up to the next size. This fits much better, which means I didn't have to make it as long because I didn't need it to stretch this way. Then we get to the ribbing here. So this has a Latvian braid, which you can basically barely see, and it's because of the colors of the yarn. And so I didn't do that for the rest because it really just, you can't see it, you can't tell. And then you do corrugated ribbing, which looks nice, but it has basically no stretch. And again, my calves are my calves get wide pretty quickly. So I need ribbing. I need ribbing. So I swapped it out. I just did normal ribbing. And then I also switched up the toe because the toe was so fiddly. So essentially what you do with the toe is you cast on this amount of, like, the longest part, and then you knit this way, smaller, and then basically you knit back on the other side, and then you have to pick up the stitches here. No, here. You have to pick up the stitches here and then start knitting around. That, no. I mean, it makes the toe look really nice, right? Like, my toe is bizarrely scrunched up here, but it is basically the same thing. Like, I did a pearl toe, and it fits fine to do it this way too. This was annoying. This was annoying. So I don't know if I will ever do that again, even though it does look nice. And then the heel is a pearl heel. And that's that. Pair of socks finished. I did weave the ends in, I just didn't cut them because I don't have scissors. Or I didn't have scissors next to me. So these are done. And I will be unwinding these and then weighing this and seeing how much I have left. You know, I might, maybe I'll just make plain socks out of these since these are patterned, and then give them to friends, or if there's enough, I might give them to my best friend. If I have, like, I don't know how much, typically I let her know how much I have, and then she'll take my leftovers to make socks. So those are, oh, and it's by Alice Yu, the socks. Next, in my Wagner from Athens, Georgia bag that is, you know, very similar to some other bags, I have a sweater. Oh, and I have sock needles. I kind of was wondering where those went. My sweater. So this is Espastrico Missoni, Mission Missoni Matters, something Missoni. And apparently I don't have the pattern here. Interesting. So I'm knitting this out of Knit Picks yarn. So I've got two colors, a very, very pale pink and then a mauve. And they are called, pretty sure this one, yeah, that's for, okay. So we have pewter, which is the very light pink. I think it's got pink tendencies. It leans a bit pink. And then we have rose quartz, and this is Daydream, and it's a DK from Knit Picks. It says it's limited edition, and it was super fine alpaca, nylon, and merino wool. So I don't know if you can still find this on their website, but I love my sweaters that are knit out of Wonder Fluff, and I felt like this was very similar except a DK weight. And so I decided to start that Missoni sweater. And I am just at adding the color work. And I'm a little nervous because of that test knit that I had been working on, where the color work, like the color work looks really good when I don't have large floats, but this one, but then when I do get to the larger floats, my color work starts pulling together. And I'm worried that I'm gonna have that exact same problem with this, but like I've knit color work before and I didn't have an issue. So I'm not sure why I don't, you know. So I'm being extra conscious of that, extra aware. And so my loops are very loose in the back, or my, what am I saying? floats on the back, I'm trying to stay very loose with. So yes, I'm just very conscious, very aware, which means that this is not going as fast as I would like, because I'm not just like, oh, knit, knit, knit. I'm, knit, okay, now stretch my fabric and then pull the float to make sure that my float can sustain my fabric stretching. I am very excited for the sweater. I would love to have this done, but we are basically at the start of spring, so I probably wouldn't really be wearing this sweater anyway. But it's definitely a sweater that's going to be so quick to knit through. The last knitting project I want to show you is also something you haven't seen, and it is in my Fringe Field bag. And this is a test knit for Making Stories. And this is the Orlina sweater or Orlina pullover. And I have done quite a lot, and I've done more than what I'm going to show you because I've had to knit it multiple times. It's a test knit, it's going to happen. So I think this is the back. So I've got the back here. So it's going to be, a bit of a turtleneck, which I don't love that. So I'm going to end up like really stretching the crap out of this. And then this is all brioche. And basically so it's clearly on hold. And you stop. So the next thing, I'm going to have to connect these and then do, the armholes or whatever. I had to knit this 3 times. So I knit probably to here, and then realized that I had accidentally done an increase when I shouldn't have. And so I ripped it all out, and then I knit basically again like 4 rows until I was finished. And then I got an email that said the setup row up here was wrong, and it basically was what it was doing was it was adding 2 purls in a row, which was going to cause problems down the road when you connected, because you weren't going to be able to do your increases nicely, and you're going to have to fix it. And all I had was this. I still had 2 months. I just went and undid it and redid it again. So I've knit this 3 times is what that means. And now I'm working on the front. I believe it's the front. It's either the front or the back. This one does have short rows. The other one didn't. And what I've had to do is basically make my own chart of where all the increases are, because they're not, so it's like you do this and then you do this at the same time, but they're not always, like one of them is you do it 4 times at this amount, and then you do it 6 times at this amount. And the other one is you do it 3 times at this amount and then 8 times at this amount. Like, so it's 4 different numbers that I have to remember. And, yeah, it was just getting like, I had to do math to make sure that the pattern was right. And even then, I still think something is wrong. Like, I've put in that I think something's wrong, but they're gonna put a chart out, and then I'll be able to figure out if I'm doing it right or wrong, which I can't understand how I'm doing it wrong, because I'm following the instructions that were given outside of the pattern of you start here and then you count. And like, I've done my math multiple times. So either it's not clear in the pattern where I'm supposed to be counting, or the pattern is counting it incorrectly. But either way, it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's just a matter of adding length. And for me, that's really never a problem because I am a tall person. So I'm not too worried. As long as the front and the back, are about the same size, then I don't think it's that big of a deal. the yarn that I'm using is what the pattern was designed out of, and it is Ginger Twist Studio in the Masham Mayhem DK in Mr. Thompson. So that is 75% British Blueface Leicester and 25% British Masham. I bought 5 skeins. With every project that I do, I will probably not use the last skein. I don't know. I never use as much yarn as they say. I did do a swatch, but then I unknit the swatch because I find using yarn for swatches a waste. So I'll knit the swatch, measure, and then, and I know you're supposed to wash it and all that. Like, depending on my mood, I'll wash it, but a lot of times I know it's going to stretch a little bit, and so I'm fine. And then I'll measure again as I'm knitting this. So if it gets a little bit bigger, then I'm fine with that. It's more so if it stays too small, but I mean, it's got so much stretch, I think it'll be fine. And those are the last of the knitting projects. The only other project I kind of want to talk about is I bought the Under the Sea mystery stitch along, and I thought I would just show you, just in case you're curious. I bought the fabric that the club came with. So this is Picture This Plus Nessie. So it's like a blue. I'll open it. So it's a nice blue, so it's gonna go this way. And then my colors are here. Don't they look so pretty? I don't have the Classic Colorworks or the Gallery Petite braid, treasure braid. So I need to go to my local cross stitch store to see if they have those. Kind of wanted to go in person rather than ordering from an online shop. Also, a lot of the online shops were sold out because of this mystery knit along. They have released the first one, so every month you get a new piece of the pattern. So just like a mystery knit along. And so the start of this one is so cute. It is a mermaid and 2 dolphins, and I can't wait to stitch it. I think it's just gonna be really fun and adorable. So, oh my gosh, like folding this back up, not pleasant. And those are the projects. So yeah, not a ton, but that's okay. So going into a real quick life update, I am going to Germany, so I will be there for most of April. So I'm not sure how much knitting I'm going to get done, and I will most likely not be posting unless I can pre-film things, which we'll see about that. So I'll have my April podcast. I just don't know if it'll be, like if it'll have to be well into May by the time I get to it. I'm not sure. And then also in May, I will be in New York City for a few days. So I've got quite a lot of travel plans coming up. So I'm thinking I might just do like a travel vlog when I go to Germany, just a knitting travel vlog. So hopefully that's enjoyable. I personally love when when the YouTubers that I follow travel. Like I love watching vlogs like that. I think that's exciting, especially when you're going to another country. Although the United States is so big that sometimes it feels like very different. If I were to go to New Mexico, that's like a completely different environment than Ohio. So like if you're not from the US, Ohio is part of the Midwest, which I would like to petition the president to change that, because Midwest, if you look at a map of the United States, Ohio is clearly on the eastern side of the country. So like, why are we Midwest? It's confusing. Anyway, Midwest, meaning we get, I feel like it's terrible to say average weather, but like it can get in the it's very typical to be in the 80s in the summer. We can get to 90. It's almost unheard of to get to 100. And then on the flip side, in the winter, we are very often, you know, in the 40s, below freezing. We can get to 0, but it's pretty rare. And gosh, I think the coldest I've ever seen was -3 in Ohio. And then with wind chill, obviously it can get a little bit colder. So I feel like we have a pretty wide range average temperature. Whereas if you would look at like New Mexico, it's like a desert. It's gonna be a lot hotter, but also they don't have humidity, so it doesn't feel as hot. And I don't think it snows there. Maybe it does, but like barely. So geography lessons with Steph. As for what I'm bringing knitting wise to Germany, I'm thinking of just a ton of socks, because it doesn't take up a lot of space. It doesn't take a lot of brain power. And I'm thinking that, you know, maybe 3 pairs of socks is going to be the perfect thing to bring with me. And then I might, you know, I feel like I might get through them and feel just uber accomplished. So yes, I think that'll be what I do. And I'll probably post like a picture on Instagram of the sock sets that I bring. And yeah, if you have any sock patterns that are maybe just like a repeated pattern that you really like, feel free to recommend them. I have quite a few. I like Hermione's everyday sock. I also have one that's like Harbor socks, which is like a broken rib. I have quite a few in my library, but if there are ones that you really like, and maybe I haven't heard of them, I would love to know so that I could maybe make those socks. Do you have any travel plans coming up? Like I said, Germany, New York City. I also in the fall am going to Las Vegas for the very first time. I'm not a gambler. I mean, I will gamble, but really I play the slots and I try to make $20 last an hour. So, you know, $20 is not a lot of money to throw away at a gambling establishment. And especially if I'm getting free drinks, then $20 is basically what I'm paying for the drink. So I'm fine with that. But I think we're literally going to go to our concert and we're just going to veg at the pools. I mean, and do some museums, but that'll be later. Thank you so much for chilling with me for the last half hour. I hope you enjoyed the podcast episode. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, follow, all of the verbs. It really does mean a lot to me when I see a comment, especially if I like recognize you on Instagram and on YouTube. That's just really cool. I've been definitely trying to do that more on my end as well, with liking and commenting on my favorite YouTubers' videos and stuff. I get it though. I get it. I watch YouTube on my TV and like my phone just isn't synced up with the TV because, you know, there's separate apps and it's all just excuses, but it does feel really nice when someone comments or acknowledges something that you said. Yeah. I hope you guys are having a great year. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, happy spring. If you're in the Southern, welcome to fall. and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.